All right, today I have a very special guest joining me, a man that I haven't chatted to in terms of rugby in a few years, a former Sharks hooker, Monde Hadebe, who has recently been in the news this week. He's going to be making a return to rugby after 4 years away from the game. For those that didn't know, he did receive a ban 4 years ago after failing a drug test in 2016, but those 4 years have come and gone. And we are now in the year 2020, and news this week coming out that Monde is going to be joining the Griquas. If you don't know a little bit about his history, he played under 16 and under 18 Craven Week for KZN. He went to Westville. He was matriculated the same year as me, actually, 2008. He went on to play for SA Schools in 2008 as well, and represented SA under 20. He's got 56 Currie Cup caps to his name for the Sharks. He played 3 Super Rugby games for the Sharks as well, which was a bit surprising to me, Monde. I thought you'd played a few more Super Rugby games than that, but I know there was some pretty stiff competition in the years that you were at the Sharks before you obviously taken a step away from the game. But yeah, so 4 years later, you look set to be making a return to rugby with the Griquas. Can you maybe just chat to us a little bit about how that's going to work and how that conversation started out?
Oh, geez, guys. Firstly, thanks for making the time to have the conversation. So fortunately, one has somehow maintained a level of fitness throughout the years. And of late last year, I got a few interests with teams asking when my return will be. Obviously, at the time, to be honest with you, I didn't look to be involved in the game at a professional level. But yeah, over the couple of months, I think the bug has been biting me more, and I started entertaining the conversations. And in fact, there are a lot of elements that are around me at the moment, and it looks like a good opportunity to go for one big last run.
So, I mean, obviously, with the way things stand with the global COVID pandemic, we're not going to see much rugby until a lot later this year. Does that mean that you would only be linking up with the Griquas in 2021?
Yeah, so that is the contractual agreement is obviously from late November this year. For 2021, but obviously I'll be involved from November with regards to their preseason and stuff. Have a little break and then I get stuck into the season. But I'm also on a bit of a standby from I think it's August or September. Should anything happen in the union, I need to obviously be able to avail myself and make the necessary arrangement to hopefully get a bit of game time in this year's competition. Should they have some sort of Currie Cup?
Yeah, man, I've been following you on social media for many, many years, and just from the outside looking in, I always saw that you were training in the gym, always posting videos up, and I was just, even in the back of my mind, just thinking, is this guy planning a comeback, 4 years down the line when you are cleared to play again? I mean, was that something that was always in the back of your mind, returning to rugby? Because I know in 2016, obviously, when you received the ban, you announced your retirement from rugby, and I think probably at the time you were probably washing your hands saying, I'm done with this now.
No, to be honest, Gareth, simply because not many people know that I actually had a back operation in 2017. I had my back op, and obviously for me at that time it was probably a non-negotiable to go back to the game. But what I did do thereafter, I got quite stuck in terms of a rehabilitation program, not just for rugby specific, but just general functioning. And one of the things that I found is that in order for it to heal better was for me to maintain a level of fitness and actually be quite active, because if I'm not, then it kind of, goes back to square one. So I think that encouraged that sort of, that fitness drive, that exercise routine. A couple of years later, I'm feeling stronger than before in terms of that actual injured place, and I'm feeling good. And I thought, geez, why not play a bit of social club rugby? The body feels good, and I'd like to think I'm fairly young.
And 29 years young.
So fairly young. The bold patch doesn't say so, but that alone kind of encouraged me to, like I say, get involved. And my intention was to play a bit of club rugby. So you get involved with the preseason and running around, and then, like I say, the bug bit, the competitive spirit bit, and then I said, look, I'm willing to entertain anything that comes with this.
So, I mean, you talk about sort of getting ready to play club rugby this year. Would you have run out for Rovers then in Durban? Was that the plan, to sort of get your feet back on the rugby pitch?
Once a rover, always a rover. You know the saying. So, yeah, definitely. It was definitely for college rovers. I was hoping to get a run around for them, and like I said, the intention was just to just enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the environment, enjoy the training, and whatever came thereafter, would be magic. But I never set my mind on, some sort of major comeback. But like I say, the bug bit a little bit more than I thought, and now I'm quite keen to get involved.
In terms of keeping fit and exercise, I've also been playing a lot of Durban Beach Touch with the Durban Beach Touch group. That's probably really something that kind of made me feel like one is still in the game of some sort. Big shout out to the Durban Beach Touch team and Sipatsi Dube for such a great initiative.
Take us back 4 years and obviously receiving that ban. How did you deal with that emotionally? And, what lessons have you taken away in the 4 years since you last played professional rugby?
So, not many people knew, and I don't think I've actually shared it with anyone. So probably about a year towards the end of my career or two, mentally I was completely out of the game. I think the experiences, some of the experience that I had kind of, drew me a little bit away. But most importantly, I had interest outside of the game that I was really quite passionate about and wanted to get myself, going as much as I can. So obviously when everything, happened, and the way that it happened wasn't the nicest of times, but, to me as an individual, I actually didn't feel too bad, to be honest. I saw it as an opportunity for me to get going with everything that I desired and everything that I planned. And like I said, that I had interest outside of the game. It was definitely a hard period, simply because of the adjustments, but not too difficult, because I think the mental adjustment was 90% there already. It was just a matter of figuring out how the day-to-day is going to be, and how you can execute, like I say, tap into the things that I'm interested in. And yeah, a year or two down the line, I'd like to say I was on the ball rolling in terms of, building and getting involved in where I find myself today.
I don't know how much you can talk about what you're doing, and I find it a very interesting space, because a lot of rugby players will obviously have a full 15-year career, let's say, and then they will go out and face the big wide world, Meanwhile, halfway through your career, you've gone and done that. In the 4 years that you've been away from the game, you set up a business. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing business-wise in the 4 years, and how that's going to set you up properly for a life after rugby? Because obviously you're going to try and make a return now and see how that goes.
Yeah, so obviously, firstly and initially, that first year of receiving, the ban, I kind of got myself into the working world. Had a bit of experience in the marketing sector, and then got involved in the financial sector. But so fortunately at the time, I was obviously studying, doing my BCom degree. I kind of started pressing into my supply chain degree, which I was doing, which is not yet complete. And then after my operation, I kind of, took the plunge to get involved in the business, of which is what I've built. Our business is an engineering business at heart, built around industrial and engineering consumables distribution. And of lately, we've scaled into the manufacturing sector, and we manufacture bulk material handling equipment. Our equipment is largely used in the port rail and hopefully in the mining sectors. So probably sounds like a bit of gibberish to you right now, but like I say, it's an engineering business at heart, and we're now scaled into the manufacturing sector.
Okay, I was going to say, because I've seen you driving back and forth to Richards Bay and back to Durban all the time on your socials. So
yeah, you didn't tell me you were really chasing, looking out for me. Just
I've just been
that much,
yeah, watching. I'm just watching from afar, doing my job. Look, on that note, on the business side of things, how are you going to juggle that with a return to rugby? Have you given a lot of thought to how you're going to do that?
Yeah, so we've been fortunate to get a lot of systems and structures in place, obviously for things to be able to carry on operationally, and also for myself to be able to work remotely. And like I said, I've got the right system structures and people in place, and hopefully that will allow the process to be a little bit slow. And obviously, that's exactly what I've done in the past couple of months, having been approached last year. In the back of my mind, I started intentionally going that route and building that route, and it's come to that point. And it's one of those matters where you dive right deep and see how you can best make it work. You can't really plan too much or be too scared about what the outcome may or may not be.
And just with the opportunities that you had, Monde, over the years, do you feel like you've got some unfinished business in the rugby space? And have you thought a bit more about what it is you want to get out of the last few years of a rugby career once you get back on the rugby field?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, I've tried not to put too much pressure on myself in terms of some sort of major big comeback. There's a big desire to obviously finish based upon my terms. There's a big desire to get that feeling back of why and when I started playing rugby. And most importantly, I think my family name. My family name was quite obviously tarnished throughout the space, and that's one thing I hold of highly.
Yep.
And just to bring that back, yes, we've done it on outside of the game, but hopefully we can bring that back in the game and like I say, finish just the way that any youngster going into the space would love to finish their career. Whether that's a Springbok call-up, or whether that's 100 caps for a union, or whether that's some good club rugby, I think time will tell.
That's fantastic. All right, Monde, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me today. I must say I am genuinely interested in seeing how you go in the next 6 months to a year. Like you say, you've got some unfinished business, and I think if anything, everyone wants to see people have a second chance and make good on themselves. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back on a rugby field in the next few months' time. And good luck with getting fit and firing for the rugby season that's coming.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gareth. Thanks for reaching out, and hopefully we can make the most of it.